Really? Why would you say that with your show about to come out? That doesn't seem smart to me. Let's check this out. See what it's all about. Leslie Headland declares people opposed to wokeness are not Star Wars fans. Well, we all know that that's a lie, so let's see what she's quoted as saying. Star Wars The Acolyte showrunner and the former assistant of convicted felon Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland has declared that people who oppose wokeness in Star Wars are not fans of the franchise. Really? Headland's comments came in an interview with the New York Times' Brooke Barnes, who maligns Star Wars fans as misogynists for criticizing the woke DEI casting of the show. His example? A single YouTube comment that questions why are there so many women, girls, and minority characters dominating the ranks of the Jedi. Ironically, George Lucas made similar comments when asked if he was going to bring more women into the future of Star Wars in an interview with Starlog in February 1988. Lucas was asked, "Are you going to bring more women in for future Star Wars films?" He responded, "Well, what of Princess Leia? When you're making a war film, how are you going to put the women in it? Think of other films. Think of The Longest Day, those films. Well, it's your galaxy. I have to go with the rest of the world and still make it believable. I'm not how many women will be in the rest of the films. The kind of thing that plots dictate. What would Star Wars have been like if Han Solo had been a woman?" Nevertheless, Brooks uses this single question to declare this is a version of the same misogyny and racism that greeted Rey, the female Jedi. No, everybody was very excited about Rey. Don't even fucking try it. We made her debut in The Force Awakens in 2015. And that drove Kelly Marie Tran off social media when she appeared in The Last Jedi. You see, when The Force Awakens came out, everybody was excited. Nobody cared whether Rey would have been a girl or a boy. We all were very excited for, or at least most of us were very excited for Star Wars to come out. So don't try that. And after the first movie, we enjoyed it and we were full of curiosity and headcanon and trying to figure out what they were going to do in the future. And is she Luke's daughter? Whose daughter is she? Is she Obi-Wan's daughter? Is she a sister? What is she? Is she a cousin, a granddaughter? Who is she? And that's what it was all about. Nobody cared. So don't try that. It was only after the fans found out what you were pushing and you didn't care about none of the male characters. It was just virtue signal, and DEI and ESG. That's what pissed people off. So don't even try it. Daisy Ridley also rejected the narrative posted by Barnes in January of this year during an appearance on the Today Show. Ridley was asked by one of the show's hosts, I have to ask you because there are some of the, I'd say, extreme Star Wars fans who have made this a conversation on the internet, and how they don't want a female director, which seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all of this. So what is your take? She responded, "I think my take is that things get blown out of proportion, and the interactions I've had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive." I took the air out of that, didn't it? And honestly, the day we announced I was coming back to Celebration last year, can I imagine the joy and the goodwill in that room? Yeah, in the room. The rest of the fandom was like, right there, it was great. And the rest of the fandom, we was like, no, what are you doing? I think she's coming back for a massive paycheck, and she can disappear off the face of the planet and take care of her family and feed her family for generations if they invest that money properly that she will make from doing this. If they do it, I think they're they're making an extremely bad decision to try to make more Rey movies. But if they do it and they pay her that, she'll be fine. She never has to do anything else the rest of her life, and just boom. But don't do it. She added, so I've only ever been embraced, and I think we're going to make a great film, and people will love it. After clearly trying to gaslight his readers regarding Star Wars fans with Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley Barnes, it then brings up South Park lampooning Kathleen's handling of Star Wars and Lucasfilm. He writes, Kathleen Kennedy, who runs Lucasfilm, has also experienced it, with South Park harshly attacking her. In an episode last year, the cartoon depicted Kennedy giving the same feedback to Star Wars creators over and over. Put a chicken and make her lame and gay. Interestingly, Barnes makes no mention that Bob Iger, a male, who was also lampooned in the same episode alongside Kennedy, but it's totally misogyny and has nothing to do with what Kennedy and Iger have done to Star Wars since they purchased it. Yeah. As for Hedlund, okay, so here we are. She informed Barnes, as a fan myself, I know how frustrating some Star Wars storytelling in the past has been. I have felt it myself. Have you? Because you are now doing more of what we have not liked. So what was bothering you? In a follow-up text message, she then declared that Star Wars fans who oppose wokeness are not actual Star Wars fans. She said, I stand by my empathy for Star Wars fans, but I want to be clear. Anyone who engages in bigotry, racism, and hate speech, I don't consider a fan. Well, it's two different things here. Okay? Anyone who engages in bigotry, racism, or hate speech, I don't consider a fan. Well, first of all, there's a minor part of the fandom that are bigots, racists, and they hate people. Okay? But they're still fans. They're not right for their bigotry, for their racism, or their hate speech, but they're still fans. Now, here's what the majority of the fans don't like. The wokeness. They are not one in the same. There are two distinct groups of fans, okay, being spoken of here, okay? Those that oppose wokeness are in their right mind. They're good people that want just good entertainment, and they're tired of the virtue signaling and the preaching and the message and just pushing this and pushing that over story. They're tired of it. Then you have the very, very small minority that are the hateful people, okay? Shove them to the side. Let's focus on the majority of the fans that are leaving Star Wars, which do not like the wokeness. These are good people, and they do not want this anymore, and you keep pushing it. Stop virtue signaling. Stop preaching. Stop pushing every sexuality on the planet. Stop pushing everyone in places where they don't need to be just to push your agenda. Just make a great story the way George Lucas used to do, and you'll be fine. And George had different races in his movies. He had both genders in the movies doing great things. Why can't we return to that? Well, it's ridiculous. Hell out of here. That's something she had to say anyway, whether she believes it or not. However, as anyone who has been on the internet knows, if you are a faithful Christian, zealots of LGBTQ ideology accuse you of being a bigot. On top of this, Lucasfilm employs numerous people who are outright racist against white people. The most famous is Christina Ariel. In a post on Twitch back in March 2020, she declared that all white people are racist. And she wrote, "White people, effing stop it. Your racism won't save you. Your ignorance is not an excuse." Oh, boy. Well, you can read the rest of this on thatparkplace.com. Yeah. I mean, come on now. We absolutely know. And that, first of all, you can't group the fans together like that. No, absolutely not. So, Star Wars fans are some of the most passionate fans in the world about anything. And like people, the majority of them are good people, with a minority that are the bad. Okay? But the majority that are the good people want good entertainment again. 10 million subscribers. Woo.